Yeah, we designated spitters live every week. Live, designated homie, cause we spit heat. We designated spitters, Francis and Pete. Yes, talking Yankee baseball, hip hop for the streets. Yup, we designated. Yup, we innovative. Yup, we designated. Spitters time that you know. Yup, we designated. Yup, we innovative. Yup, we designated. Spitters, let's start the show.
Well, Francis, I tell you, man, we are witnessing arguably the most bipolar season that the New York Yankees, at least in our lifetime, has ever played. This is the scariest roller coaster you have ever been on, with more ups and downs than I think you can write. I don't think you can write this season. You can't, because I feel like ourselves, we are becoming bipolar because of the Yankees. It's like every time we come on here, we have something different to say. But man, the New York Yankees, again, last time we recorded, I think I was like, yeah, they're not making it. I mean, I think 8-7, they're not going to make it. You know, the Blue Jays are hot. They're burning up. Ray is behind them. Vladdy's the MVP in our opinion. These guys are carrying them. The Yankees got nobody stepping up. It was a bad spot. Man, how things have changed.
What's the saying? What a difference a week can make, right?
Or a day even. I mean, my God.
The real famous saying is, that's baseball, Susan. And that's honestly, there's nothing more to really add to it. That's baseball. A week ago, the Blue Jays looked they just looked invincible.
They looked destined. They were destined to do it. They were destined to do it.
This is going to happen, and we are all just going to witness it. And you're looking at the Yankees, and you could also just see the writing on the wall there. Also, they just don't look like they have it. The dugout's dead. The pitching doesn't look good. Cole came out and put up a stinker. It was like, yeah, man, I don't know. It's not looking good. And we're going up into our roughest stretch of the season against Boston, Toronto, and then Tampa. It's not looking like it's going to be good. And then all of a sudden, they show up. Again, like you said, the bipolar season, they've been doing this all year, where it's like they go ghost for a long period of time, and then out of nowhere, they show up and start playing baseball like the team that we thought they were going to be all year. And that's basically what we've been seeing this last week.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's unbelievable, really, if you think about it. Like you said, I mean, I know, at least for me, I'll speak for myself. I was really down and out. I was down and out, man. I was looking forward. I was like, you know what, man, it is what it is. The only way I saw it was like, well, I get started on the big NY News plans early. You know what I mean? Instead of just focus on baseball and videos, I can really focus on what we got dropping and coming out in January, and start putting some things together and really putting more energy towards that. But hey, I'm more than welcome for the season to be extended. I'm very happy for that to happen. Like I said, at the end of the day, we're always going to voice our truths on here. And I'll tell you what, I have learned from this Yankee season that I am not going to take anything for granted. I am just going to sit back and watch, because all of this can continue to rise, and they can go on this amazing run into the postseason potentially. Or they could run into a brick damn wall and fall back to wherever the hell they may really be. So I'm not going to take the bait. I'm excited and I'm happy, and I'm very happy that right now we have a playoff spot. Right now we're in. I mean, we're tied right now with Boston for home field advantage of the wild card game, which is huge. You got to get that game in Yankee Stadium. You got to get it in Yankee Stadium.
100%. I'm glad you bring that up, because it's big. I see some people, on Twitter and other social media just saying, well, they just got to make sure that they're in. They just got to make sure that they're in. Yes, they do want to be in, but you also kind of want to be in control of your destiny in terms of the home field thing.
Right.
And I think this Boston series, as much as it was about, trying to gain ground in the wild card race, it was also about that home field thing, and coming out, winning those first two games. It sends a message, and it's like I've been going back to this statement, or this comment, if you will, that DJ made a couple weeks ago, because it's very simple, but it's very spot on with this team. And DJ said, we're the streakiest team in baseball. We've been bad for a little while now, but who's to say we can't get hot at the right time and go streak and take that into the playoffs and do, who knows what. And he's right. He's right. And that's what it looks like is happening. Like, they may be getting hot at the right time, but you don't know. Like you said, you got to take it with a grain of salt. because they've done this before where it looks like they're getting out of bed and then somebody smacks them and then they're back in bed knocked out.
Yeah.
So we don't know, but it's really important that they keep this present. Like a wild card game in the Bronx is very, very different from a wild card game in Fenway.
Correct.
From a wild card game in Toronto. Like, and honestly speaking, right? If by some way, shape, or form it ends up a wild card game in Toronto, I think that might be even worse than Fenway.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that out there. Like, honestly, that could be worse than Fenway. Yankee fans travel to Boston, and you've been seeing it this series, but Toronto's is a little more than a hop, skip, and a jump away from New York.
Yeah, you got to jump a country.
That will not be friendly confines, and you know how tough it is to get in there now with all the COVID and vaccine regulation.
Right.
I don't see that being too much of a friendly atmosphere for the New York Yankees if they're hosting a wild card game,
right,
or whatever. So you got to make sure that you finish above these guys, because the Blue Jays got the season record already before this last series.
Yeah, no, it's important. I mean, I don't think you can undervalue that at all. I think the Yankees playing at Yankee Stadium is key. I mean, at the end of the day, this team needs every advantage they can get, and they should be looking for every single advantage they can get. Now, look. Some may say, well, this is one of those teams that maybe they're better when their backs are against the wall. Maybe they're better when, they're almost eliminated and most people believe like they probably aren't going to make it. Maybe they're better that way, but you don't want to live that way, right? You don't want to live every chance like that, because at the end of the day, we've also seen this team go on horrible streaks where even, let's look at it, I mean, we'll go over each game. So let's start there. Then I'll talk about game 2, where it's kind of the same thing, right? Without that big hit, they don't win that game. So it's a little bit still the same for the Yankees. They just got away with a victory. So game 1 comes, the Yankees win 8-3. Garrett Cole improves to 16-8 with a 3.08 ERA. Nate Eovaldi looked horrible. He had nothing. Thankfully, the Yankees beat him up. They did exactly what they should have done with him, which again is beat him up. Giancarlo Stanton again. I mean, 3 for 5 in the first game of the series, 4 RBIs, including a 3-run homer off Eovaldi. Gleyber Torres also getting hot. Got to give him his credit where credit's due. Anthony Rizzo looking good. Bullpen was strong. Holmes looked decent that game. Peralta and Green looked good. But that was the first game of the series. I remember talking about that before we went live or anything, or even recorded or made any of the videos. I think actually my last video I did was as an actual it wasn't a live video, but broke down the series beforehand, and I just said the final 9, and this is it. And the first game is the trendsetter. That's it. That is the statement game. And the Yankees made a statement, and it carried over in game 2. And the man behind it is Giancarlo Stanton. So even looking at game 2, so we get this out the way, and we can continue just to focus on what great things the Yankees are doing. Luis Severino picks up his first victory. Yankees win the game 5-3. Chapman with the save does give up a homer. But again, in this game, the Yankees had 4 hits. Giancarlo Stanton, 2 of them, the major one being the grand slam off of Hernandez in, the 8th inning. The Yankees were dead this game, fam. They did not look good. They were dead this inning.
2 outs into the 8th inning, by the way.
And I told everybody, Nick Pivetta is a very good pitcher, so don't just see a name Pivetta and think. He had a very good first half. No. And Pivetta could get it going. Pavetta's a good pitcher, so he shut the Yankees down a bit. But King came in, looked great. Severino came in, looked great. But let's start with Stanton, because I do want to talk about him, but I also want to talk about this new look Yankee bullpen, which is a major concern we had just a couple of weeks ago. I mean, what the pen's going to look like. So we definitely got to stick to that. And I actually talked about that in a video. But Giancarlo Stanton, Francis, you got the floor, man. Tell us about this guy. Tell us what he's meant to this team.
So, and first, before I do that, guys, if you haven't seen the Final 9 video, it's a really good video. I mean, not that we put out low-level stuff, but, it's just more of the same, guys. I mean, we've been consistent all year. The Yankees haven't, but we have. So if you haven't, go check it out. There's a lot of good info.
Because one thing you guys got, as Montel Williams said, I'll never come whack on an old school track. That's kind of how we do it.
No, that's fire right there. We're dating ourselves with that. Now you already
we're not that old, fam. We're not.
You already know. You already know where we come from with that.
Right.
No, but listen, Giancarlo Stanton has been. I mean, the nickname Big G to me is like, okay. A lot of people probably go with it like, because he's a big guy, he's a muscular dude, he's tall, he's whatever. Me personally, when I'm calling him Big G, I feel like it's because he's been big for this team, right?
Very much, yeah.
The whole thing about, booing him and everything. Listen, I'm not going to come out here and say You guys can't boo. I'm not. You guys already know Francis Lee is not giving you that BS. We don't do that here.
No.
We are New York Yankee fans. We pay more than anybody else to go watch this team play. We pay more than anybody else to have a cup of beer at the game.
Facts.
For a bucket of chicken. Like, so whatever you want to do with that money that you pay for, I'm not going to sit here and judge you for it.
Yep.
I just hope that it's all in good fun. So when people were booing him, whether I agreed or disagreed, I would stay indifferent, right? But at this point, what I will say is the same, as loud as some of you were booing him, make sure you're cheering him that loud.
100%.
This man has more than earned it, right?
100%.
You can go back to last year, the wonky season, the wonky postseason. Listen, this guy showed up huge, 9 home runs in that little short span. It was ridiculous. And we were in the wild card series and then the ALDS. We didn't make it past that. If we would have made it past that, we don't know how crazy he actually goes in that series, because last postseason the ball was flying. All right. Randy Arozarena was eating like a fat kid at a bakery, bro. So like, you can't tell me that Big G was probably he might have been able to keep it going. So he started this last season. He came in this year, and it's the same thing. Oh, well, we don't know. He's striking out. He had these stretches where he looked completely lost, and I will give you guys that because we reported on that. When he looked completely lost, we were saying it. We're like, yo, G looks lost.
Right.
What we always said is when this guy's off, he looks like one of the worst players in baseball. But when he's on, he looks like one of the best players in baseball, and that is exactly why he's here. Now, the contract and all that, that's a different conversation, because we can talk about his contract separate from the player that he is.
Right.
So I'm not even going to talk about the contract right now, because to me, that's a separate thing, and that's more on front office people, and that has less to do with Stanton than a lot of people think it does. When we talk about the player, that has to do with Giancarlo Stanton. And when we're talking about that, we're talking about somebody who deserves his flowers right now. If Giancarlo Stanton doesn't show up the way
bouquet.
he's shown up all year, a whole bouquet. Give me the whole thing. If he doesn't show up the way he showed up all season, as quiet as it's kept, the Yankees probably aren't even in position to be contending for this wild card right now.
Right.
A lot of people don't want to admit that. A lot of people will say, nah, because, Judge has been good too, which is a fact. Judge has been good.
They've been
Judge
awesome. This is the first time we've seen both of them together. Like,
He's
damn,
been
this is a monster. This is a powerhouse.
Exactly. And that's exactly my point. This team is battling for a wild card right now, having these 2 great seasons from Judge and Stanton together. If Stanton doesn't turn in this effort, if Stanton hadn't been as healthy as he's been this year, we don't know if we're even in position to be contending. There was stretches this year when Giancarlo was carrying the team. I think that's undeniable. The last couple of weeks, it's been him and Judge. Like, they've been the guys. Not even, for a while it was like, oh, these trade acquisitions, they're like really making a difference, and they were. And then it kind of shifted back to the usual suspects: Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton. And this last series, it's been all Big G. It's been all Big G. Coming into this series, we were looking at Gallo. All right, I'm glad you highlighted Gallo too before, so I'm glad, because Gallo was another one not getting his due. But this series has been about Big G, and I think the important thing to note is maybe he's not going to go 3 for 5 with with a double, a home run, and then like another single or something. And then maybe he's not going to do that every single game. But what I think is important, right, that we have to notice is, in the beginning, when he first got here, a lot of people were saying, yeah, Stanton hits home runs, but they're solo shots.
Right.
Or they're garbage time home runs.
Yep.
They aren't really difference makers.
Yep.
This season, Giancarlo Stanton leads the team in RBIs. He also has a slash line that includes an over 300 average in high leverage situations. Michael K said it on last night's broadcast. In high leverage situations, which for those who don't understand, just means clutch time.
Yep.
When it matters.
Put up a shut up time.
Stanton, exactly. Giancarlo is batting over 300 with almost 10 home runs in those moments. Like, it's nuts. Like, this guy has shown up in a major way. And it's like you said, yesterday's game, we needed that one big hit. We needed that one big moment.
We didn't get it. If we didn't get it, we lose. Game's over. They're not winning that game.
Listen, you could say, some people will say, oh, maybe bases loaded. Maybe we get it. Maybe we tie the game and we see what happens. Listen, you're at Fenway Park. you do not want to just tie the game.
No.
It was never about tying the game. Giancarlo Stanton showed up in that at-bat with the right approach. This guy is on the ropes. He just walked him. He just hit a batter after going full count on him, right? He was like, Rizzo scared him off the plate, which I don't know if a lot of people are going to cover this, so I just want to throw this out there. And I know I've been rambling, but I got to say it. That Anthony Rizzo at-bat just before Giancarlo Stanton, this is why Rizzo has to be on this team.
He has to come back. He has to come back.
That is the shit that I am talking about right there. Inject that shit into my veins. That is an at-bat. That is a professional at-bat. Anthony Rizzo crowded the plate from the first pitch of that at-bat. He was like, you're not getting this. You're not getting this. And when he came in, Anthony Rizzo missed. He did miss, but he put such a power home run swing on that pitch that he scared him again. Yep. He came in one time. He puts his A swing on it. He misses, but now the pitcher's like, he missed, but he was on it at the same time.
Right.
And that might sound crazy to some of you, but like those who know the game, a pitcher is looking at that like, he's not too far behind that. I better not throw that again. Or if I do throw it again, I got to make sure I get it inside enough that he can't hit it. So he does, but then he got it too inside and he hit him. And that is exactly what you want in that situation. Of course, Anthony Rizzo was looking to do damage with a ball that was left out over the plate, but it was also in the back of his mind, if I can get on base and pass this to Big G, we're in business. And that's exactly what he did. And Giancarlo shows up with the right approach. This guy just hit Anthony Rizzo, right? He went full count to him. They brought him in to get Rizzo out. He was never supposed to face me here. So what's going to happen is he's going to throw a get me over pitch to try to get ahead in this count, no matter what. He knows in his head, he's like, I can't fall behind to this guy. I can't have him be in the driver's seat. And Giancarlo says, there's never going to be a car because as soon as you throw the ball, I'm going to launch it to Lansdowne Street. That's what's going to happen. And that's what he did. And that's what he did. And again, one of the bigger struggles for the Yankees past couple of years has been this, not getting the big hit.
That's right.
Not getting the big hit.
That's all it's really come down to.
That honestly, we've been saying it for years. Look at Tampa Bay. Their offense, yes, it looks like a well-oiled machine, like whatever. They strike out more than anybody in baseball, okay? They go on runs where they score a lot of runs, but then they go on runs where they don't. So how is it that they ran away with the AL East? Well, let me tell you, timely hitting.
Yep.
That's it. Whenever they needed the big hit, it's always there from somebody. The Yankees struggle for years. And our streaks, when we go on these bad losing streaks, because we just can't get that hit. And last night was looking like that game until Giancarlo came in and delivered. So give the man, like Pete said, give him the whole bouquet.
No doubt. No doubt. I mean, he's been tremendous. Everything you wanted Stanton to be, he's been. So let me just go over some numbers with you. And we'll take it from there with Big G. So over his last 7, 308, 4 homers, 12 RBIs. Over his last 15, 322, 7 homers, 18 RBIs. This is the most important time of the season, everybody. Over his last 30, 316, 13 homers, 32 RBIs. Now, I was digging into Stanton's career as a New York Yankee. And he has 4 years, one of them being a COVID year, one of them also being his injured year, 2019. And then 2018 was his only really full season besides this one. And he had 617 at-bats that year. He's having a better year. We are right now witnessing Giancarlo Stanton's best year as a New York Yankee. And if you really kind of dive into it a little bit, it's actually up there when he's had over 450 or so at-bats. Excuse me. One of his better years. And people may sit back and go, well, wait, Pete, hold on a second. How do you say that? Well, I'm basing it off of certain things, OPS, slugging percentage a little bit. Overall, as a season, 275 average is high for Stanton. He's a career 269 hitter. 275 is pretty up there. Strikeouts aren't horrible this year. Home runs, yes, not one of his most ever, but I tell you what, it's right there with his career norms, if not a little better. Usually he's at the 30s, 37 has been his most before. 38 with the Yankees, which is his second most ever, so people tend to forget that too. Second most home runs he's ever hit was his first year with the Yankees in 2018. 59, of course, was the year before that, which was his MVP season with the Marlins. But he's having one of his best seasons. And Francis, you hit it on the head. When his team's back been against the wall, and he's the guy up to make something happen, he's been really good. He's been really, really good. And I do want to throw a shout out here to Arby. If you remember, one of the things Arby talked about in our trade deadline special was that Stanton needed to be in the outfield because he feels that really affects him. That's why maybe there's been some of the leg issues. And I kind of confirmed that a little bit with my report I put out the other day talking about the Yankees' potential offseason moves. Words coming direct from the mouth of somebody who would really know. And, it's true because I got to hear it. So it's very, very true. There's definitely things bothering Stanton that he's played through. When it comes to leg stuff. That's why you don't see him hustling as much. That's why he's been a DH a lot. They don't expect him just to be a DH for good. He doesn't want to be a DH for good. He's mentioned that before. He's on the field because he wants to play. And however that is how he's going to do it. Exactly. And he's a young guy. So, he's really picked it up, though. You heard those numbers over the last 30 games.
Yeah. No, he's been phenomenal. But
just overall as a player, he has been so good. And there's not much else I can really say about him. Besides, one thing I love about Stan, even when he's bad, when he's going through one of these rough patches, the one thing you can never take away from him, right? He never loses his confidence.
Nope.
He never loses his confidence. He'll be there looking to have the worst at-bats ever, and he'll be like, yeah, I was bad today. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, yeah, I know. I get it.
I love that.
But I'm not going to run. I'm not going to go, hey, guys, I'm dipping out early today. No. He doesn't do that.
He faces it.
He faces it all day. He's cool with facing. He wants to face it. Like, he wants to be like, yeah, I know I suck right now because I know what I'm going to do later. And look, I haven't been the biggest Stanton fan. I'm saying it right now. I said it recently. I think he's been a disappointment for the Yankees, either because, one, he hasn't been on the field enough. He's been injured, and that's part of his career. Two, I was very upset that they got a DH. I didn't want him to be that. None of us wanted to be that.
Nobody wants a $27 million DH.
Nobody wants that. And again, we are basing this guy not necessarily off career norms. We were basing it off of 2017 when he was a giant of baseball. 59 homers. He's coming here with Judge like, damn, these guys might hit 100 together. Damn. Yeah. That's what we expected. Did we not? Yeah, Wasn't that all the talk? They're going to hit, we got a chance of two players having 100 homers themselves. That was the conversation. That's what we believe could happen. We haven't got that. But damn, am I not happy to see the Judge and Stanton we have gotten this year.
Yeah.
And also, including Pops. I'm gonna throw something at Pops here. Pops likes to talk a lot of trash on guys like Gallo. He's not a big fan of Gallo. If we are seeing anything right now from Joey Gallo, you better be hella happy what could happen next year.
Oh, for sure.
I'm just jumping into that. I'm jumping on that train right now, and I'm riding it into next year. Yes, we got playoff games up. Yes, we got big things coming up for this ball club, but I'm looking forward because I'm always a forward thinker. I'm always thinking what could happen in the year or so. And I'm looking at what Anthony Rizzo has meant to this team. So, yes, I put the report out. Folks, I heard the words that so-and-so is disappointed in Anthony Rizzo and his play. I don't know what the hell you're disappointed in. Maybe you were looking for a little more. But I tell you what, you could send Tim's ass home and let Rizzo do the job.
Oh, that's
because
a fact.
Whatever the frig has happened, Anthony Rizzo has done one thing. He's talked in the dugout. He's talked to the player. Every time you see Rizzo, is he not talking with Judge? Is he not talking with G? Is he not out early with Gallo? That's been reported now.
Yeah.
That he's the one who got Joey Gallo to say, hey, man, crowd the plate.
I was going to say that.
Crowd the plate.
And there's footage. It's undeniable.
Harold Reynolds did a tremendous job. I watched it. I said, yeah.
Yep.
And
I watched the same video, and I was trying to. It's funny because I watched the same video, and I was trying to figure it out too because I saw Gallo getting hot.
Yep.
And I noticed something different, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I was like, he looks different in the box. I thought it was where he was holding his hands. I swore it was where his hands were. And then Harold put it out, and he put it together. No, Rizzo got him to crowd the box, and it changes everything.
And I try to pick up on those things because I usually, for whatever reason, I could just be like, oh, that looks different. Let me see. Mm-hmm. But I didn't see anything.
Yep, me neither.
I didn't see nothing with them.
I did it. But you know what it is? It's the feet. And so, we're not Like we're watching the game, like we're trained. We're looking at the arms, we're looking at the hands, we're looking at the strike zone where the catcher's setting up. Right? It's like the feet are like the last thing you look at, and then when Harold pointed it out, it's like, oh my god, it's so clear as day.
And it's
His
true
feet,
because
he moved in.
Yeah, and if you watch him, right? If you really watch Joey Gallo, he was a sucker for the outside pitch. Can't get to it. Couldn't get to it. Couldn't get the barrel of it. If he got to it, it ain't going nowhere. It's not doing nothing. Exactly. You know what I mean? Maybe he lines or dribbles a base hit to left field. That might be the best you could get from that. Now, if you hit the outside corner, my man's barreling it. He's barreling it. And I've always said this. Remember, I think I was saying it on here. I was saying, but he's strange because you could tell he's just a way better athlete than what I even thought. This guy could easily hit 240. I believe that. I really believe 230. Sure. Him hitting 200, I was like, he's not getting the most of who he is. And everybody's like, that is who he is, but there's improvement there.
Yeah, there's who he is on Texas. You got to remember, organizations, where you come up, all that stuff matters. All that stuff matters.
Looking at his numbers too, real quickly. This is something I wanted to take a look at. You look at when Gallo was struggling. This is also combined with the numbers now. What you see that he is doing now is he's not only home run or strikeout. He's getting hits. Yep. This is something, honestly, look his career numbers up. Gallo has never done it. He's never been a guy to say, I'm a load up, 30 doubles and I'm going to have a bunch of singles this year. Never does it. He's not who he is.
Yeah.
So in his last 15, 256, 7 of his 11 hits are home runs. 256 though. Okay? Last 7, 273. Half of his hits are homers. 3 of the 6. But 273, 385, 727. 256, 340, 767.
Yeah.
If in your mind you are not certain that this could be who Joey Gallo could become, I'm telling you right now, think again, because this guy is not. Somebody said, well, he's basically Adam Dunn. No, he's not. He's not. That's a horrible comparison. He's not.
Come on.
Joey Gallo's arguably the most athletic guy in his ball club right now. Or you could make that argument.
Yeah, I mean, you can 100% make that argument.
His body type is completely different. He's not a big lardy guy. He could run. He's in a tremendous shape.
Nah. He has the perfect frame for a ball player.
Perfect frame.
He's like the perfect frame for a ball player, outfielder. Like his frame has held up throughout his career. Is one thing you can't really say with Joey Gallo. Like, look at him. He's been a gamer. He's been out there. He's always gonna. Why? Because look at his frame. Like, he's just built to be out there every day. Like that's what we said about Judge and Stanton a lot of times was like that we don't know how this big bulky thing is gonna work. The last 2 years, the whole thing with Cressy has been, let's get them to do yoga. Let's get them to maybe lean, trim a little and get a little bit leaner to get get leaner and get slimmer. Who do they start to look more like? They start looking more like guys like Joey Gallo.
Yep.
Joey Gallo's, it's not that he's not muscular. Joey Gallo is very muscular. He's just
lean.
Great
he's
freaking shape.
Yeah, you can tell.
But he's lean. He's lean. He looks like a ball player. And that frame holds up. It holds up.
Yep. And so Stanton this year, and again, this is not taking away anything from what Stanton has done. So I know we're focusing on a lot of other guys too. Yeah. Giancarlo Stanton's been the star guy. I mean, the Yankees, if the Yankees get into the playoffs, you got one man to thank. No matter what happens going forward. If these first 2 games doesn't happen with Big G, you don't got a season. This is a whole different conversation, guys. I said it. I said that game 1 needs to be. And look, Cole wasn't good. I don't think Cole was terrific. He was decent.
I was gonna say he was good. That's what I was saying. Cole was good. He wasn't elite.
He wasn't him. He battled. He got a 6.
It wasn't like the ace performance that we were like, we need him to be an ace.
Like tonight. I was saying, I said that he has to go out there and dominate these boys, not make them feel nothing. Exactly. Just shut them down, because I wanted them to have that fear of, well, if we do have a postseason game against these dudes, that was the last before. Damn. Now they're like, I mean, we did score 3. We got him. I mean, it wasn't his best performance. We get the Cole. We know we could beat Cole.
Yeah.
And on top of that, people also forget about, if I'm wrong, I might be wrong. Correct me, please. Anybody who hears it, Thurnis or Francis, maybe you might. I think this was his first ever win at Fenway.
It was.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was.
That's another thing. If that's the case, Boston could still go in there and be like, I mean, he never really wins against us the first time he did it, and we still had a decent game.
Yeah.
You know, we can get to this dude. They got to have a level of confidence about themselves. But Giancarlo Stanton kind of wiped that slate clean. He really said, boys, get on my back. Look, Judge has been struggling the last 7 games. He's been struggling. Stanton stepped it up. Gallo has stepped it up. Rizzo's starting to step it up. Gleyber Torres, believe it or not, is starting to step it up.
Yeah, quietly. Which is what he needs to do at this point. It's very simple. I'm still gonna stick to my assessment that, look, personally, I think that the team is better without him on. Well, for 100% without him playing shortstop. That is
undoubtedly. He'll never be a short again.
That
He'll never be
not
there again.
Negotiable. Yeah. And I'm very happy that the front office finally realized that. It's unfortunate that we realized this like 2 years ago and they just realized it now, but it's been realized. So that's good. If you are going to stay with him and it's going to be at second base, okay, but you need to figure it out because, again, like, yes, Gio's great, but I don't think we can go into next year just say, yeah, Gio Urshela is our shortstop. Like,
no, that won't happen.
Again, I think it will ultimately end up being the same thing. Like,
and can I add one thing too? You also don't want to go into the year as DJ LeMahieu being your starting third baseman. So they got some big thoughts to make in the offseason. And we'll get to all that stuff eventually.
I don't know. Yeah, again, that's for the all-season video. We're going to have to brainstorm that. But speaking about the present, Gleyber Torres has been starting to look a little bit more like Gleyber Torres. He's been hitting the ball. He's been squaring up the ball. He's been, his approach hasn't been like that weak under, like popping out to second base. Yeah, it's happened here and there. But for the most part, his approach has been a lot better. He's got a little hitting streak going. He's looking good. And the broadcasters are all saying, oh, you can tell there's a noticeable difference. Now that he's at second base, maybe that's what it is. We don't know. Like, Aaron Boone says there's no way to quantify that, and Gleyber says there's no way to quantify that. Listen, you guys don't have to put a name on it. That's what the designated spitters are here for. Facts. We'll put a name on it. This is 100% happening because he's not playing shortstop. Right. Okay. This is what we've been saying, and this is exactly why it's happening. This is 100% happening because he is not the starting shortstop anymore. Make no mistake about it. They will not admit that because to say that on live television would mean that they made a mistake, and they do not admit mistakes.
Yep.
They just don't.
Yep.
But we spit the facts, so we're not going to lie to you. What you're seeing from Gleyber Torres is 100% correlated with the fact that he is the starting second baseman and not the starting shortstop. Yep. That is a fact. And you cannot play that game of, oh, maybe next year we'll ease him back into that role. No, get out of here with that.
They won't. I don't think he's never going to sniff shortstop again. Not on the Yankees, at least. They won't go down that again. That's been learned.
It shouldn't be. I think he can't. It's too much pressure.
And per my understanding, that actually came from all the way up top. So that's a Steinbrenner type thing, according to, if you believe, what's his name, Ken, whatever, not Ken Rosenthal, the other Yankee guy,
Davidoff.
I think it was Davidoff, who put that out there. That said that it was actually Yankees brass that were fed up with him, and that said they demanded a change.
Well, amazing.
If he get back there, so that wasn't Brian Cashman, because if it was Brian Cashman, guys, it would have been done. It would have been done already. So I don't think that was him. I think that came from that was more of an executive decision. Maybe little Stein's up there getting a little bit more involved in the game. But if you look at his numbers, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna say it right here because Francis, you know how we are. Sometimes we might have a different opinion on things, but we're just gonna keep it true. Yeah. I stick to my guns. Gleyber is ass, and I'm gonna stick to it. I'm not backing away from it. I'm not. Let me tell you something. And I'm not shitting on Gleyber. Look, I'm very happy with Gleyber Torres, but Gleyber Torres is still not playing like the guy we thought he would be. I'm just keeping it real. I see his at-bats, and even me and Joe were in the chat. We were talking about it the other day. He got that double down the line the other day. It was one of the worst swings I ever saw. He's still not the guy that we saw that was hitting the 30 homers in the his swing was just better. Something is up with Gleyber Torres' swing where he does not drive the ball no more. He's not hitting these liners all over the place. He's still getting bloop hits. He's still getting these little grounders that get through. But I'll give him credit here. Yes, we're not seeing the power. The slugging percentage is very, very down, even while he's been hot. We're still not seeing that. We're still not seeing the doubles machine, the home runs. We're not seeing the extra base hits. Over his last 30, 2 home runs, but he's hitting .299. He has an on-base percentage of .342. That is good. That is good. His last 15, .321 average, 2 homers. 2 homers, .387 on-base percentage. He's getting better when it comes to average and on-base. Last 7, .346 average, .414 on-base percentage, 1 home run, 4 RBIs, 9 hits.
Yeah.
But you can see the majority of the hits are singles. So if you go to the last 32 hits, 2 home runs. I don't have the doubles in there, but on the year, he only has 20 doubles. So I know all those didn't come recently. Those been throughout the whole season.
Sprinkled in.
OPS, is still extremely low, 692. And I know he started slow and all. And guys, look, I am not at all shitting on Gleyber Torres. It's the same conversation that I had for years when it came to Gary Sanchez. There's no difference. I never flip-flopped at all. I've just said the potential's there. Potential means shit if you don't show it. Potential means nothing if you don't show it. Matter of fact, we'll go to the Bronx Tale. One of the greatest quotes from that movie is wasted talent. That's the worst thing in life is wasted talent. That's the worst thing you can have in life is wasted talent. Gary Sanchez got all the talent in the world. Maybe he hasn't wasted it. Maybe it's just bigger than what we thought it was. Maybe we blew him up bigger than what we thought because how he started. And that's just how the game is. Gleyber Torres, maybe he's not the player of 20, whatever it was, the season he had all these homers. Maybe that's not the guy that he's going to be. Maybe he's never going to be a 30 homer hitter in there. Maybe he's never going to hit 25 yearly. Maybe he could hit a higher average and hit 10 to 15 to 20 a year. That's great for a second baseman. Everybody would accept that. I just need to see the consistency before I'm hopping up and down saying, oh, Gleyber's back. He's 24. He's this, he's that. That's bullshit, guys. Because guess what? Why are we the only cats talking about our 24-year-olds maybe playing to their potential when there's other guys 21, 22, 23, 24 that do it year after year? We the only guys that dial back and go, well, he's still young. Baseball's a young man's game more now than ever. All these guys are young.
That's why they're getting paid now.
Come on. I don't want to hear that no more.
A couple of years ago, you would have been talking about not you. We would have been speaking about Gleyber Torres possibly getting an early extension, like Acuna, like Tatis, like all these guys. He was in those conversations. He was the
best young players in baseball. They were saying
he's one of it's him, it's Juan Soto, it's Tatis, it's all these guys. They were talking about, and then he just fell completely out of that talk. Why? Because Acuna kept showing up, Juan Soto kept showing up, Tatis keeps showing up, and Gleyber did not. And maybe there's a lot of things that you can factor into it. We spoke about it last week, right? That the Padres had that blow up in the dugout, and Machado was screaming at Tatis or whatever. I think Machado's been one of the best things that could ever happen to Fernando Tatis. Why? Because he holds that kid accountable. He knows that, it's very easy for you to think you've arrived, you got paid, you're one of the biggest stars in the game. It's you arguably the biggest star in the game right now. Yeah. I mean, let Jeff Passan tell it. It's the two-way guy, but of course you're up there, right? It's easy to let that get to your head and make you think that you've done something, but let me tell you something, buddy. You ain't done shit. You ain't won an MVP yet. You ain't won a ring yet. You ain't won you haven't won a triple crown.
Postseason this year.
You're not. You haven't carried your team in October yet. You haven't done any of this yet, right? It's not about you. That's what he was screaming to him. It's not about you. Like maybe if Gleyber Torres had somebody who could do that, and I'm not saying he doesn't have someone who can do it. I just feel like he's on an organization where that would be frowned upon if someone actually held him accountable and said, hey, Gleyber, I know you had that great year a couple of years back and you beat up on Baltimore and padded your stats, but we didn't win a ring that year. You didn't win an MVP that year. We didn't do shit in the playoffs that year. Like it's a nice, it looks nice on your career stat line that one season, but like bear down, bro. Like you haven't done shit yet. Like let's get it together. Like get back in the lab. Something's off with your swing. Like whatever. Like listen, look at some video. Get your stuff together because right now it doesn't look tight out there.
Yeah.
But as I'm saying, I feel like you see it, and even with other guys, maybe you don't see it as often or whatever. But trust me, Juan Soto's been in the Nationals. Okay.
Oh my God.
Before this season, the Nationals have tons of veteran guys who Soto could go to and speak to, and who I'm sure were going to Soto and speaking to him, whenever he was, losing it a little bit at the plate and saying, hey, man, look, yeah, you definitely have all the talent. All the talent is there, but keep your head in the game. Keep your head in the game. Your swing's looking a little this, it's looking a little that, get it to get whatever. I feel like when you can see the difference from the young players who have that and who don't. Yep. Like, yeah, Acuna is great, right? Acuna also plays on a team with Freddie Freeman, who as happy-go-lucky and has, I love baseball and all that stuff, as it seems like he is on the field. Freddie Freeman is all business when it comes to the game.
Yeah.
He does not take that lightly. He doesn't take this game lightly. That's why he is who he is. That's why he's having the career that he's having, because he's on it. And I'm sure that if he sees a guy like Acuna coming up, struggling, whatever, he's going to go. He's going to say, hey, bro, like, let's get this together. Let's, figure this out. Or whatever, you know what I mean? And I like it. I feel like, with Gleyber, maybe that, that opportunity is no longer here. Maybe that ship has sailed. And that's my thing. It's just like, it's not so much that we don't think he's going to be a good player. Same thing with Gary. It's like they may go on to have phenomenal seasons after this.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like it would be somewhere else, because
right.
I don't look at Gleyber Torres anymore and look at somebody who absolutely positively has to be in this lineup for us to win a ring.
Correct.
And it's the same thing with Gary Sanchez. It's not like the way I look at Aaron Judge. To me, I look at Aaron Judge and it's like, that guy has to be on this team. He is a championship player. Like, he needs to be here.
Yep.
Right. There was a fleeting moment where I thought the same of Gleyber. I was like, him, yeah, for sure. He's got to be here. I don't feel that way today anymore.
Yep.
I just don't feel that way today anymore. And when you sign DJ to that deal, and you have Aaron Judge looming also in free agency, and you have an infield that's literally like all over the place right now, I don't know how you commit to a guy like Gleyber right now. Even if he's having a little resurgence right now, and we appreciate it, like you said, because we're Yankee fans.
Yep.
So he's doing it right now for us. So I'm not going to say, oh, I don't care. No, I care, because it matters, because every game matters.
It's good too, because he's also doing it for himself, and it's good for the Yankees that he's doing it. Because whether or not they decide that he's coming back next year or not, you want him to perform a little bit where, other teams are willing to say, yeah, we'll take him. We'll take him on. So, I mean, when it comes to the offseason and all that, man, we're going to have videos galore on that. And there's so much to talk about, so many different scenarios that you could come up with. But the one thing the Yankees definitely will have to do is figure out that infield. There's no doubt about that. They'll have to figure that out. And who may be in it, who may not be in it. Those are serious questions the Yankees are going to have to answer. But one of the things that look like a real bright spot for the New York Yankees going forward is what I'm just about to throw out some names right now. And then, France, you tell me what I'm talking about. Chapman, Herman, Severino, Holmes, King, Peralta, Rodriguez, so on. Yeah. I think I'm talking about the Yankees bullpen.
That bullpen.
That
yes, sir.
We just, maybe, I don't know if it was last show or the show before that, we're talking about how that could really shape up to be a bad spot for the Yankees. How it could really be a negative. Luis Severino looks terrific out of the bullpen. And I talked about, I remember we were saying it. We said the best case scenario is what? He comes out of the bullpen. That's forget the rotation. It's way too late to go trying to get this dude to throw 100 pitches, trying to get him through 4. On top of that, you're not 10 games up in the division to do that. You need him where he'll be his best. And right now, it is a fact. It's proven. When he's in the pen, Luis Severino is filthy. He's filthy. His career numbers out the bullpen are stupid. Domingo Germán, I think, will be the same thing. Michael King is the new Green. When Green was just dominating. That's Michael King now.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we're seeing Michael King. Clay Holmes is probably one of the most underrated trades at the deadline in all of baseball. And I'm happy.
He has to be the most.
And I'm happy. You know why I'm happy? Because I could have very well jumped the gun and said, oh, Park. Thankfully, I wasn't able to. And I'll tell you why I wasn't able to. Because I had a friend in Pittsburgh that said, Pete, before you say anything, can I give you some insight on Holmes? And I said, cool. And he told me, if this is what you can go back and look at it, guys. If he could get his control under control, so to say, He could be elite. Those are the words. Go look it up. The dude told me, and man, oh my God, I want to say his name. I want to say he is a Twitter guy, so we always talk about the Pirates until he actually hooked me up with some people too out there in Pittsburgh that give me information on players. Gregory, his last name is Gregory. Damn, I think it might be David Gregory. But he told me flat out, he was like, Pete, the dude is elite if he can throw. If he could throw strikes and the Yankees could get him to that point, he is overly elite. And the one thing he has done much better with the Yankees is strike guys out. It's due to the command. He's not throwing everything away. Whatever Matt Blake has done this year, keep doing it. I don't care if it's like they did the gas station, the fucking hot dog stand. I don't care what you want to start calling these things.
Oh yeah.
The fire grill, it don't matter. I don't keep doing it. Something is finally working, especially Francis, especially though with the younger guys that got potential. You're seeing it here finally. Yeah,
you are.
That's big.
That's a fact.
That's big.
That is a fact. That is a fact. I remember saying this about King early on. I think earlier in the year, like when they first were bringing him up, like before the injury and stuff. I was like, he keeps coming in. He keeps showing stuff like this. It's gonna be real hard to like keep Chad Green in that position because King he's looking like that guy, and that's what he's been. The injury, looked like it was gonna be a little setback. Kept him out a while, a little bit longer than we wanted, but he's back. And he's continuing to do it. I will say this, and you don't often hear me say this. It's very rare. I will give kudos to Boone or whoever the hell it is. Obviously, it's not Boone in my opinion, but whoever it is making the decisions on when to pull guys and to bring guys in. The last week or so, 7 to 10 days, they've been pretty spot on.
Yeah.
They've been pretty spot on. Like I've been watching it. And I'm like, okay, I can see it. Like, something that happened. I don't know. Was it last night's game 2 against the Red Sox or game 1? No, I think it was game 2. Right? King pitched yesterday, right?
Yes.
Okay. So yes, one of the things that happened, and this doesn't always happen with the Yankees because it seems like we're always reacting to everything and not being proactive. But one thing that happened last night that went unsung, I think, they had King getting up early. They had King warming up early. Nestor wasn't quite at the end of his rope yet, but it was already planning ahead. It was a very Tampa Bay Rays move, right? It was a very Dodger move. It was a very Red Sox move where it's like you see, okay, like right now it's there, but we know a couple batters from now it'll probably let's get him in. Let's get him warming up. We know he's the guy we want to go to. Let's give him the time so he can get his full warm up in and not warm up in a hurry because we got a situation with runners on and whatever. Gave King his time to warm up. King comes in ready to go and he does what he's supposed to do.
Yep.
He does what he's supposed to do. And then as his wheels are falling off, they have Sevy. They have Sevy getting ready.
Oh, yeah, Lucky and first. Lucky came in and got out of it.
Exactly.
And so Sevy was ready for the clean inning.
So when King came in, I remember Coney saying they're gonna go to a lefty here. He's like, I think it's Litke, right? Which as soon as he said lefty, I'm like, they're gonna go Litke. I don't think they're gonna go Wandy because they went Wandy already. So they're gonna go Litke here. But it's like because the way Cone was calling it, it's like you see how Cone's calling it is because that's what makes sense.
Yep.
That's what makes sense. You have King here. He's your bulk guy. Litke's going to come in, right, for the 1 batter, 2 batter thing. If it gets sticky, you get him, and he gets you out of an inning. And then from there, you go to Sevy with a clean inning.
You bring up a good point. I just want to throw it out there before you continue, though, because just about, maybe 2 weeks or so ago, we wouldn't see Sevy there. We'd see Heaney, Romano, or Krisky. Let's be real. That's why we were getting so mad as fans because we're like, bro, you guys got like a 3-run lead. What are you doing? Like, why are you giving this game away? Like, we know that as fans, and that's why we're ripping our hair out. That's why I'm sitting there saying, fire Boone. I'm sitting here screaming in the mic like a damn nutcase because I know what the fans think. They're thinking the same shit as I am. Yeah. Why the hell would you do that? Like, Boone, do you even want to win?
How do you go to? Because last night, I'm glad you said that name. Because last night was that night where in my head, the name that kept popping into my head was Andrew Heaney. I'm like, they're going to pitch him at some point in this fucking game.
Son of a bitch. That's exactly what
I was like, feel it. Like it just look because this is how the Yankees have managed their games all year.
Facts.
Like this is how it's been, and up until this series, this is what it would look like. Heaney would come into that game, even if we're down,
no
whatever, and it's a close game.
No
he would have
doubt.
came in and he would have got blown up and would have been
right.
out of reach, and it wouldn't have mattered.
Damn
Giancarlo,
right.
it probably never happens because momentum is a big thing. But Sevy comes in, bottom 7, strikes out a guy, walks a guy, then gets the last 2, keeps the game right where it is, right? Keeps the game right where it is, and then bam, top of the 8th happens. The Giancarlo grand slam, big deal, right? It's like, damn, what are you gonna do? Even the broadcast saying, okay, so if you're the Yankees, now you got to figure out how you're gonna close out this game. It's like Sevy was there. Sevy is a starter. He's not fully stretched out to be a starter, but we do need to see what we're going to get from him as a bullpen guy.
Yep.
A couple weeks ago, even if Sevy is up and he comes and pitches that 7th the way he did, a couple weeks ago, they would have pulled him.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
He wouldn't have got that second inning.
He wouldn't have got the chance.
He wouldn't have got that second inning. But for whatever reason, and who knows, maybe this is a little bit of what Ozzie Jr. was saying, that if Boone knows he's going to go out, whatever, maybe he got to do things his own way, at least towards the end. Who knows? I have no idea who made this decision.
And we'll probably never know that, to be honest.
We'll probably
never know.
But it was the right thing.
It was the right thing. It was the right thing
to say, keep this guy in, let him go in the 8th. Let's see if it gets dicey. If it gets dicey, we'll move. And then and you saw for once they were being proactive because Sevy was in there. Who was up? They had Joely up.
Yep.
Joely was up and he was getting ready just in case.
And look, man, the thing is that fans kind of get upset about is that one thing they'll never be able to say about us is that like we tend to always flip-flop on our words. We don't, because even if you go back to look, I've been a huge Aaron Boone criticizer. But I won't sit here and not give him credit. Because people, you know what people like when I criticize, they go, well, Pete, you know it's not him. I don't give a shit if it's not him now. Whoever the hell did it was the right call. So I don't give a shit. So at the end of the day, I believe, unfortunately for the manager, team struggles, it's on you. Team does good, it's on you. So guess what? I give Boone his credit. Whether it's him or not, good job. Who's ever calling these things right now, good. There was also one, my last thing, I also got to give credit to, again, either Boone or whoever's making these decisions. There was a situation, I don't know if it wasn't the 7th, I think it was the 6th, where we had runners on 1st and 2nd, nobody out, right? And Giancarlo Stanton was the runner at 2nd, right? And immediately the broadcast starts saying, right now, you're down, or we were down 2-1 or 2-0. Either way, it was either a 2-run game or a 1-run game. It was a close game, and Stanton was your lead runner in a game with runners on 1st or 2nd, nobody out. And the broadcast starts saying, "Well, what do? Do you even entertain the thought of pinch running for Stanton here so that you can maybe like steal a run, like using speed or whatever?" Right? This is a idiotic cockamamie. Not saying that Cohn is saying this because he's an idiot or cockamamie. No. Right. Let
me tell you why David Cohn was saying this. Because this is what the Yankees were doing all year. This is the stupid shit that they would do. Oh my God, Stanton's at 2nd. Like we need runs. Oh, maybe we get some speed in there. I don't know. Go to Tyler Wade. Get Darth Wader. He has to come in. We press the button.
The force is strong with that one.
Like, he has to come. So this is why Cohn suggested it, but they didn't do it. They left Stanton in there, and that inning doesn't even materialize to anything. I don't think we even scored a run because it was like we ended up getting like a double play and like a pop out or some shit like that. That's or whatever. Right. But regardless, they stuck with Stanton in there, and the reason that they stuck with Stanton in there is because they said, "We know what this guy does at Fenway Park. We know the damage that he does. We can't afford to take him out of the lineup here, even if his speed might hinder us from stealing a run here." His bat might get us the runs that we need later on, which is exactly what it did.
That's right.
It's exactly what it did. So credit to whoever it's been. Because these are the moves. It seems very simple. It seems like they don't impact the game too much one way or the other, right? But it does.
It definitely
makes
does.
All the difference.
Oh, big time.
It makes all the difference.
So let's put our not even crystal ball here. Let's just look forward. We only got 7 games left, right? Today's game is Montgomery versus Rodriguez. Before we talk about that, let's go ahead and look at the standings right now. We do know that the Toronto Blue Jays right now are at the bottom of the 1st inning. They're playing the Minnesota Twins. So, guys, by the time you watch this, that game may be over, maybe close to being over. I have an idea who might win. But also, too, we will know who the winner of this game is before the Yankees play. And that's significant because the Yankees right now are tied for the first spot, home field advantage, with the Boston Red Sox. Who they play today? Destiny's in their hands. The Toronto Blue Jays are 2 games out. They're playing the Twins right now. They are 2 games out of that spot. The Seattle Mariners are 3, Oakland's 4. I think right now, the 3 best teams out of all those 5 are the Yankees, Boston, and Toronto. I think everybody agrees with that. Francis, you agree with that?
100%.
I think we all are on the same boat with that one. So, But looking forward here, the Yankees also got 3 games against the Blue Jays. So, guys, here's all I'm saying. The Red Sox schedule is very easy. Before you start hopping up and down, remember, the New York Yankees have to win games. They have to keep winning. That's the crazy thing and why we're so amped and pumped for every game going forward. That's why I said that final 9. Today's the final 7. Tomorrow will be the final 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. It could come down to those last couple of games against arguably the best team in the American League.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying here is don't count your chickens before they hatch because today's a new game. Stanton's kept us in there, but we need to continue to win. The run differentials of the best teams in baseball. Let me tell you what it would be real quick, France, before I let you hop on and talk about moving forward, especially talking about Monty and Rodriguez today and what that game could look like, is this right here. Run differential is very important when it comes to what your record should be. Maybe how good your pitching is and how good your offense is and everything that falls in line with that. We know it might be a little strange for the Yankees because they just haven't scored a lot, but they pitch great. I mean, I'm kind of shocked that the Yankees have a plus 41 run differential. I'm kind of shocked by that because they barely ever scored. It just tells you how good their pitching's been. But the best teams in the American League right now, Tampa Bay's run differential is 190. Houston's run differential is 206. The White Sox run differential is 140. Now, these are all teams already with 90-plus wins. All teams already with 90-plus wins. Out of the 3 big teams right now that are in the postseason hunt, the Yankees, Boston, and Toronto has by far, 4 times greater than the Yankees, 2 times greater than the Red Sox, plus 169 run differential. Their record per that should be about 94 wins right now, meaning they will be very close to the race. It's not, so it doesn't matter. That goes out the window. Who gives a shit? The reason why I'm saying this right now, it tells you how dangerous they are. So if you see this team struggle against the Twins, and you're like, oh, the Twins are beating them up. Okay. Our season's only where it's at because we struggled against shit this year.
Lost 8 games to the Orioles.
So what I'm saying here is don't count your chickens before they hatch. We still got to play those Blue Jays. The Blue Jays still got a couple of games to go like we do. They win today. They come out with that offense. Again, calm down. Because I see a lot of people say, where are we going for the postseason? Calm down. Stranger things have happened, 1. And 2, out of those 3 teams, the best offense is the Blue Jays. Especially when they get going. I don't think there's any denying that. The Yankees offense is good. We just haven't seen it. We just haven't seen it on a consistent basis enough to be like, we're going to score 7 runs the rest of the way. We're going to score. Even yesterday. Yesterday, they had 4 hits. The Red Sox bullpen, let me just tell you guys this real quick. I forgot how many innings they threw. I think it was around 4 or so. Maybe 3.3 2/3, maybe something like that. I'm not sure off the top of my head. I don't have it in front of me again. But remember this. They got 1 hit. That was the biggest hit of the game. But they got 1 hit. So all I'm saying is game by game and leave it at that. Game by game.
Yeah, it's very good like what the Yankees have been able to do so far in this series against Boston. We'll see what happens today. I think, believe it or not, for some people are going to say, oh, you already won the series technically, but it's like we've been saying, at this point, you got to have every game. So right now, you got to have game 3 today against Boston. We don't know what's going to happen with Minnesota and Toronto as of yet. If Toronto loses, that kind of gives you a little bit of breathing room in the sense that if you don't win today's game, it's not the end of the world, but you'd like to have today's game. They finally were able to solve Eovaldi. Maybe we can finally solve Rodriguez. Maybe. But make no mistake about it. Out of these final 9 in the tough final 3 series of the season for the Yankees, the most important one is the one that we're about to start against Toronto. In Toronto.
Undoubtedly.
It's by far the most important one. As it stands right now, we are separated by 2 games for that second wild card spot. Boston, yeah, they're losing. They lost the series to us right now, but they will go on from us to play the Orioles, and they will finish the season playing the Nationals, which means they have 6 straight games after this against sub 500 teams, and not just sub 500 teams, but like really bad teams.
And let me throw this real quick, Francis. Just against the East at 40-32, they also beat up the Orioles, and against the National League at 13-4.
Yeah. So the Red Sox have a very, very soft landing after losing this series to the New York Yankees. The Blue Jays will face us in the next series and then go on from there to face the Baltimore Orioles. So let me tell you something, folks, it's not going to get easy. There is, for the New York Yankees, there is no soft landing. Right. The only thing that you can hope for is this. The best case scenario, because it's in their hands, is this. The Yankees come out and win today. Toronto loses today. And then the Yankees go on to take 2 of 3.
Minimum 2 of 3, yep.
Minimum 2 of 3 from Toronto in Toronto, which will not be an easy feat.
No,
okay?
Not at all.
I'll tell you right now, this is what we're looking at. Game 1 is going to be Kluber versus Steven Matz, okay? Matz is not a world beater. He is not unbeatable.
He beat the Yankees up last time,
he beat the crap out of the Yankees because the Yankees love to make guys like this look like Satchel fucking Paige.
Yeah, facts.
So it's really up to the Yankees. Now, don't get me wrong. The Yankees hit very well in the Rogers Center, and this is something that may play into this series. The New York Yankees have not taken a trip to the Rogers Center this season, or last season for that matter, because of everything with the COVID. So maybe the Yankees get up there and, feel happy being in Toronto, playing in that park. The Yankees are a team that has historically hit pretty well in that park. Maybe they get to Mets. Game 2 is Garrett Cole versus Barrios. To me, this is that game. This is that game. Okay, we wanted it. We wanted it from Cole on Friday. We didn't get it. It was a good performance. Good enough to win, yes, but it wasn't that performance. Game 2 against Toronto, we need that if we needed it Friday, we need it 10 times more. Game 2 against Toronto. It's him versus Barrios. I'm not saying the Yankees can't beat Barrios. We have a history of, hitting him well and playing him well. But again, you can't bank on that. Our lineup has shown that they can be very Jekyll and Hyde. We need Cole to come in and lock shit down. We need him to come in and lock shit down. The Yankees need that game. Because if you drop one of the first 2 and you're going into game 3 against Robbie Ray, and our starters right now, it says undecided, but it's most likely going to be Nestor.
Yep.
As much as I love Nestor can give us a good 4 innings, 5 innings, 5 and a third innings. But at some point or another, we're going to have to put it together after that. And Robbie Ray is Robbie Ray. He strikes out a lot of guys, and this lineup strikes out a lot.
Yep.
So it's either going to be.
The Jays are also home for the last 6.
Exactly.
So
remember, it's a game 3 is going to be. It's really simple to call. It's either going to be Robbie Ray is going to come out and dominate the Yankees for like 6 or 7 innings with like 11, 12 strikeouts or something like that. Maybe give up a run or shut us out. Or the Yankees are going to do that thing where they go up against whoever the best pitcher is and they make him look like shit. It's going if I had to call it, I'm saying it's going to be one of those 2 outcomes. Either he shuts us down completely or we knock him out by like the 4th inning or some crazy, like that's the way I see it. It's going to be one of those things. It's like when we were going up last year, game 1 against Shane Bieber, and everybody's like, oh, he's going to shut us down. He's going to shut them down. He's going to shut them down. He's going to shut them down. And they came out and they shut him down. It can either be that or it can be the Yankees that show up like a little league team against Cy Young himself.
Yeah, and I mean, the Yankees they faced Ray twice this year, and they've beat him up. They've done a good job against them. First start of the year was against the Yankees. He went 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 3 runs overall. No, 2 earned runs. I'm sorry. No, 2 runs overall. A homer, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts only. 4 2/3. About a month later, only 4 2/3 innings, 4 earned runs, 2 home runs given up, only 5 strikeouts. But
yeah,
I'll just be fair here and say this: second half, Robbie Ray has just been elite.
Yes.
I mean, super. I mean, you go by month-to-month totals. I mean, look at his ERAs. First month of the year, month-to-month total. His April numbers was 2.78. His May numbers was 4.60. His June numbers 2.86. July 1.99. August 1.76. So I mean, he just throughout the year, you could tell even his walks were a little up early in the year. He had 6 walks against the Royals. That's the most he had the rest of the way. I mean, he had more than maybe some months total. So he really got the control under command, which is something I said about Ray for years. If somebody could figure it out for him, he's elite. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball, and he's showing it now. So the guy the Yankees faced before, that ain't the same guy they'll be seeing this time around.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I feel like it's going to be one of those 2 outcomes. I think it's going to be one of those 2 outcomes. I think, honestly, it'll either be that he comes in and shuts down and dominates, or they're gonna wreck him. It's gonna be one of those. It's gonna be one of those. But you don't want it to get to that point where it's like, we got to have this game and we don't know which version of this guy we're gonna get. And if he dominates us, we're dead in the water. Yeah. Because they're leaving here to go play Baltimore, and we're leaving here to go play Tampa Bay, who has already sealed up the division and all that shit already. So essentially, they'll just be preparing for the playoffs. But because it's Tampa Bay, they're not going to make it easy on the New York Yankees.
No, they're going to want to knock the Yankees out.
Yeah, they will love the opportunity. They would love the opportunity to get us the hell out of here. So that Toronto series is huge. If you're the New York Yankees, you have to come out the way you came out here in Boston.
Better.
Take those first 2 games.
Even better, Francis, no, you're right, because that second game. I mean, yesterday's game was a game. Let me put yesterday's game. Yesterday's game is what we hoped for the Yankees, right? Is that the homer would save them. Throughout the year, it hasn't, because they haven't been able to get the big hit. Yesterday's game, up until the 8th inning, was the same shit we've seen all year.
Yep.
While scratching our head saying, what the fuck? Like, what are we doing?
Yep.
And then, boom, Stanton actually got the hit. All year, that doesn't happen.
No, but
all year, that doesn't happen. So they need to be better than that.
Yeah. I think the important thing here too is like our pitching is going to be, in the spotlight against this Toronto series. We know what the Toronto lineup does.
That's right.
We know what the Toronto lineup does, and we need our pitching to come up big. I don't expect Kluber to give me 7 shutout innings, but I need Kluber to give me at least get us into the 6th inning. So 5 1/3 or something like that, and 2 runs or less. If he gives you that, trust me, that is more than enough from Corey Kluber against that Blue Jays lineup. That lineup does damage. If he gets you into the 6th inning with down 2 or less, or tied, or you're up 1 or 2, whatever, you're good. You're good to go. That's good. The bullpen has to pick it up from there, which I feel a lot more confident about. Obviously, like we said, we got Severino there. They say Herman's coming back. They say Herman's coming back already. The interesting thing is Tyone is expected to be activated on this week also.
They're saying against the Blue Jays potentially.
They're saying against the Blue Jays. So I'm personally penciling in Nestor for the 3rd game of that series. It may very well be Tyone pitching against Robbie Ray in that game, which means even more because he's coming off the IL, and before heading to the IL, he was scuffling. So if that's going to be the case in that 3rd game, you really need those first 2, because I'm telling you, if you win today and you take the first 2 coming out of that series, you will still have a lead over the Blue Jays of at least 2 games.
Right. Correct.
Blue Jays could go on. They could go on to sweep Baltimore. But all you would have to do is take 2 of 3 from Tampa Bay, and you're in.
Right.
And you're in.
Right.
If you lose 2 of 3 to the Blue Jays, you have to sweep Tampa Bay. And I think you also would have to hope that Tampa Bay, that Toronto loses a game to Baltimore, which is chances are that's not going to happen, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. Anyway,
Correct.
all of this to say, this next series is the most important series of the season.
No doubt about it.
I know we've said this a lot, but at this point, there are 7 games left, and 3 of the 7 are against the team who is right on our ass, just 2 games out.
And by the way, the Blue Jays, Danny Jansen just hit a 3-run home run. So it's 3-0 Blue Jays right now.
There you go.
In the top of the second. As you guys watching this are going to be a few hours ahead of us, so you'll already know where the Blue Jays are. But quickly with a 3-0 lead, Manoah's on the mound, who's been very good this year for the Jays. But Monty needs to be good today. Monty has been excellent. He's been underrated last 15 games, which is basically the second half of the season. 3-5 record. This is a guy you don't even look at that because it's just been so unfair for him when it comes to the offense. 2.96 ERA, 79 innings, only 72 hits, 29 walks, 86 strikeouts. He's become much more of a strikeout pitcher, which is always nice because, it means a little more dominance, right? You get out of certain things when you're a strikeout guy. He has more than a strikeout in an inning this year. The first time he's ever done that in his career in an actual full season, which he only got 2 of them now, which is 17 and 21. Mm-hmm. But Monty has been exceptionally good this season, and they need him today to beat the Boston Red Sox. But
big time.
Francis, we covered everything. We talked about where it is now. Oh, damn, I just thought about this. Next time that we do this will be what? What game will that be? Will we even have? Well, we will.
Next
yeah,
time we do
we'll
this,
have another game.
We'll be in the middle of the series against
Tampa. So we may know the season. We may know the season.
I was gonna say, I think by the next time you guys get an episode from us, we will know the demise.
Holy
of this
cow,
team.
we will. And you guys will actually be watching us during the Rays game because that game is a 3:05 game next Sunday. Wow. So Francis is right, man. By the time we record it on Saturday, likely, we'll be right there. We'll know what the Yankees are likely their faith is going to be.
Yeah. Here's to hoping that last game of the season is not a must win.
I needed a shot right now. We had to do a shot. Here's the hoping.
Here's to hoping that one's not the must win.
So we'll see, but man, it is
tough.
what it is. It is what it is, man, and I'll see. But that's all I have today.
It's a week.
You got anything else, Francis? Is it 1 week away, man? Let the anticipation build. Let it build.
One week of this regular season stuff to go. The Yankees' fate is in their hands, like Judge has been saying. So
either way, guys,
it's on them. It's on them.
Either way, Team NY News will be with you.
That's a fact.
Either way, we
will
be here. I have built a dope template for us that is going to premiere in January. I am going to let everything premiere in January, guys, because we'll have some announcements coming up, likely in December, I would say. Maybe late November. Depends. But we'll have some big announcements coming up for you guys. Try to do it in a pretty cool way, too. Maybe an interactive way and things like that to get you guys a little more involved in what we got coming out. The 2022 season is going to be something special, but for Team NY News, we're focused right now on what the Yankees are going to do going forward. So, Francis, as you always say, lead us with the outro.
Yeah, I already know. Stay tuned. Keep it locked because the next episode is the best episode.
Yes, it is. And I think Montel Jordan, I'm going to have to steal your line, man.
He ain't using it anymore.
He's not using it no more. No. We'll never come whack on a designated Spittaz track.
That's a fact.
There we go. That's how it goes. So, Montel, wherever you are, thank you, fam. Thank you. We got that one for you. You ain't using it no more. You good, fam. All right, folks. As you guys always know, like, share, and subscribe, especially that last one. Guys, subscribe to the page. You're not going to want to miss it. Turn those notifications on because if you're missing this, you're missing out. I'll tell you right now.
It's a fact.
All right, fam. For Francis Lee, go follow him. We're at one Francis Lee. For myself, talk to you guys next time. Thank you.